Hi, welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy and I'm your host. I am coming to you on Rhinebeck weekend from my home in Toronto, where it is a lovely day, and I hope all of the people who have gone to Rhinebeck have had a lovely, lovely weekend and enjoyed some sunshine and some nice warm October weather. It happens every once in a while, but not usually, so it's kind of a nice surprise perhaps. Anyway, my name, as I said, is Tracy, and Scout has decided that she's not going to stay with us. I am Tracy RR on Ravelry, and I am Comfy Red Couch on Instagram. And last week I opened a group on Ravelry, and that is the Comfy Red Couch Ravelry group. And we had some lovely discussions happening through the week, and it was great because oftentimes during lunch I don't get to take my lunch. I can't leave my office for various reasons. And one day this week I said, you know what? I'm taking my lunch. Yes, I'm still in the office, but I've got the computer there. And I did some Ravelry checking and did some little chats and had a good time with that. So I'm enjoying the group so far. I had been really tentative about opening it in the first place because I was afraid it might be too much of a drain on my time. But so far so good, and hopefully it will stay that way. So Scout has decided she wants her ears nice and scrunched, so she's just here while I pet her ears. And golden retriever ears are just so soft. Anyway, it has been a busy week, and I have been knitting up a storm. I only have a few projects to share, but I do have a finished object, and if you follow me on my Instagram feed, you may have seen one of those projects, and I'm so excited to share that with you today. A huge welcome to anybody who is new to the podcast. Welcome, and I hope that you've got a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or some sort of libation and your project bag, and that you're just going to have a nice chance to sit down and see what I'm going to talk about. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back each week. I love speaking with you each week. I'm just so glad you do tune in to me, and sometimes some of you send me messages during the week, and I always love chatting with you during the week. So anyway, it's amazing how fast Sunday to Sunday comes. I do have some progress to show on my Scottish thistles. I was really hoping yesterday, as I was knitting, that I'd have a finished object to share with you. No such luck, but we'll get to that when we get to my favorite things. Right now, tea time, because we've got to start off the episode with some nice special things, and I got some new stuff this week, so I couldn't resist. It was just too cute. This week on Tea Time, I got a new mug, some new teaware, some fun things from David's, because they had some fantastic Halloween things that I just couldn't resist. They were too cute. So this is my new mug, and this is the back of it. And the front is there, and all of the ghosts glow in the dark. So fun. Couldn't resist. And this is the Nordic tea mug, so it's got the lid, the strainer inside, and I'm just brewing a lovely cup of very hot tea right now. A couple of other, and the tea that I am brewing right now is the pumpkin chai by David's, and I had bought a 50-gram container because I wanted to see whether I'd like it or not, and I did, so I ended up getting 100 grams because it is a limited edition. It smells so nice, and inside is a black tea, and those little orange specks are little candy pumpkins, and so a little bit of sweetness in there. So that is what I'm drinking today, or will be drinking in a few minutes. The other thing I picked up from David's, because this was just too cute, is the Haunted Mansion Survival Kit, and it is a cute little house, and inside you've got the ghosts on one side, and on the other side, there are 6 fun teas to try out. And So here are the teas with a very bad glare. This one is called Pumpkin Dye, and I think it's actually just pumpkin chai. This one here at the bottom is Magic Potion, and I have had Magic Potion on the podcast before. That's the one where you add a little bit of lemon and it turns from purple to pink, and it's actually really, really tasty. This one here, and it's hard to read, is Cardamommy French Toast. So right there, Cardamommy French Toast, all of course Halloween themed. This one is called Glittering Ghosts, and there's actually, or Glittering Ghost, and there's actually little stars and ghosts, or at least stars, that are like the pumpkins in the pumpkin dye or pumpkin chai. So little bits of sugary goodness. And then over here we have Organic Stormy Night. And at the top is, it's the kombucha one, Haunted Kombucha, right there in the top corner. So very hard to see because of the glare, but a fun little tester. Whoops, that was fun. Boy, they popped out. The ghosts are at it. So just a lovely little container of tea, usually about 2 servings, and just a fun presentation. And I couldn't resist because it was just so much fun. So I think what I will do is this, the few days, sort of like almost like a Halloween advent, I'm going to start making some in the mornings to put in my tea that I take to work. So I've got a bit of a Haunted Mansion theme. And David's had a bit of a special that if you spent a certain amount of money, which on my cup and on my Haunted Mansion Survival Kit, you got this fun David's tea mug free, and it's ceramic. It's got a silicone lid and just a great sort of to-go carry mug. And I might just leave this at work for when we have staff meetings. And I have a Winnie the Pooh one that says, it's got Eeyore on it at work, and it says, good morning, if it is a good morning, which I doubt. So maybe I'll have a second one just for fun, and it's nice to have that lid on it, especially when you're walking around. So that was kind of a fun thing. And it is now time to take the lid off and take out my strainer. I'll try to be left-handed as I drink today. So this is my pumpkin chai, and cheers. Let's start talking about knitting on the podcast. Yum. This week on My Favorite Things, I have 3 projects that I'm going to talk to you about. And the first one is living in my Beauty and the Beast shawl. And this is my Pebble Beach that I am making for the mother of the bride. So the wedding is November 4th, and I'm using Farbe Mâche, and this is the Flamingo colorway. I had started this the Friday before the last podcast, and I'd gotten to 10%. And I've just been doing this mainly in the mornings at work, a little tiny bit at lunchtime, and a couple of rows here and there, and I'm now at 20%. So this is the Pebble Beach shawl, which I find to be one of the most versatile shawls. I don't think I have ever seen a yarn that does not go well with Pebble Beach. You can use like a straight solid, a tonal, you can use a crazy variegated, you can use a gradient, and I don't know what it is. Pebble Beach is, I think, one of the best patterns for just yarn usage. Anyway, so this is the medium size. I'm doing, I guess I'm at 20% now. Still a lot to go, 80%, but this will soon become my major focus, and so I'm hoping that by next weekend I will have it off the needles and blocked. I'm not sure whether I will be able to show it on the podcast just because I've got to get this to the mother of the bride, but I will do something, and whether that's a midweek vlog, Vlogtober sort of thing, or whether it is filming a clip and putting it into next week's podcast, I haven't figured that out yet. My brain tells me I can knit this much, but when I actually get to it, often that doesn't happen. So my goal to get it finished by the weekend, and as I said, and blocked by the weekend, because I do have to figure out how I'm going to get these to the recipients. So that is one. I'm really looking forward to starting to see the color changes, especially when I get to the peach. My next project is still a UFO, and that is in my princess bag, and this is my Scottish thistle shawl. And if you are a returning viewer, you know how much I am loving this shawl. I am now 6 rows from completion, and then I've got bind off. So it is getting there, but I was really hoping to have it done yesterday, but each row takes a very, very long time because not only are there between 500 and 600 stitches, there are cables, there are beads, and lots of intricate work. It is rated as a medium to difficult pattern, so it certainly is challenging. It's not undoable, but I've talked about it before. It's the layout that's driving me crazy. But there's one more thing that is driving me crazy and is starting to make me really, really nervous as I'm getting to the end. And that is, there are percentages involved as I've been going along through the pattern, which in Helen's patterns, she has them there and they're fantastic. They're a great guideline. But in this one, unfortunately, I have 17 grams left and I have 6 rows left. It tells me I'm at 100% as soon as I finish my last row. It does not incorporate bind off. So I'm a little bit worried. I mean, I should be okay because I have been weighing all along and I've got about 6 grams as a buffer. I will be playing yard chicken. I do have a couple of options just in case I don't quite make it, but I am a little bit worried. And it's a very simple bind off. It's just a knit through the back loop type of bind off. And it's stated in the pattern what type of bind off to use. So I don't know why the percentage doesn't include right to the end of bind off, because I don't want an unfinished object at 100%. I want the thing finished. I want it off the needles. And I want to know I'm going to have enough yarn. So that is one of the things that my huge pet peeves with this project, but it is getting there. I am hoping that, and I said this last week I was hoping to have a short podcast and get it edited, and then I had technical difficulties. And I got no knitting done that week. And you know what? It was probably best that I didn't touch the knitting at all last week, because last Sunday was a challenging day. And those are the days that bad things happen to knitting. So I was not even risking taking this out as soon as Lindsay said to me, Tracy, don't even touch the thistle shawl after the day you've had. And it was, you are so right. So thank you for that advice, Lindsay, because if I had touched this, it would probably be off the needles and oh, who knows what state it would be in. There are a couple things I do really like about this shawl, and I do love the edging. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's kind of a fun edging, and I'm looking forward to seeing it blocked. And I really love how the beads, and of course they're not really popping as I'd like them to. There's some beads there. I love how the beads are looking in. Oh no. I didn't just do that. Okay, so as I was showing off this project, I was just, fiddling around, and I actually removed several stitches off the end of the needle. So heart's still going because I just had to do some lace surgery. I think I fixed it. It was over here. Yeah, I just popped them off the end because, this project isn't frustrating enough as it is. Okay, I think this project needs to be put away and kept in a safe place because it's very accident prone. Right? Yes. Till later. Okay. Sometimes I wonder, is that project giving me issues because I'm perhaps not the nicest person to it these days? Or, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. Okay. The next project I'm going to share with you was housed in my lovely Ghastly's bag. And this is my fun bird legs bag that Vicki made me. And I've used a mixture of yarns. So I used a gradient set that I had had in my stash for quite a while, I think almost 2 years. And so these are 5 of the colors from the gradient. There were also 2 reds. It's called Sugar Maple, the set, and there were 7, and I just decided I didn't want the reds in the mix. I could have gone with one of the reds, but I really liked the dark greens. So these are the minis that I used, and each of them were 32 grams when I started, and I've got about 23 to 24. They all have a bit of a different weight, but they're all 23 or 24 left. So I've got still quite a bit of that set left, and I've still got the 2 reds that are untouched, so I'll be able to make another project. Now there is a tiny bit of a spoiler. I have shown it on the podcast before, but this is a Nora George Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club colorway, and this is Alohomora. And funny story about how I have 2 of these. Tracy had accidentally sent me 2 skeins. So I got the one that I had purchased, and then in the mail I opened, there was another one. So I had made arrangements to return it to her. I had bought her some Likey needles, so but they had been on back order. So she said, just, you know, wait till they're all ready and then I'll send them all together. But then this project came up. So I sent a little message to Tracy saying, may I please use the extra Alohomora because I've got the perfect project. So she agreed. So that's why I have 2 Alohomoras. And this could not have been a better match. It is just autumn incarnate. It is glorious, glorious, glorious. And what I'm going to show you today is the surprise party shawl that Helen designed for Rhinebeck. And there's a Grocery Girls theme to it, and Hugh Loco has come up with 2 colorways. One is called Shut the Front Door, and the other one I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it's one of the sayings that the Grocery Girls are famous for. And you're all probably filling it in for me right now. Anyway, this is my huge surprise party shawl made with Alohomora front door, and the Miss Babs gradient set. And honestly, I don't think I could have done a better pairing. This is one of the best color combinations I think I have ever put together in a shawl, and I am completely thrilled with it. And my favorite one, there's a little picot right here, and the picot runs across a little bit, and it has pretty much every single, it starts from the orange and actually goes to that dark green in the picot, just in the yarn, Tracy's yarn. And a lot of people may think this is yellow, and if you are a new viewer, I really do not like yellow. I definitely do not have an affinity to it. But I think because there were so many pops of orange and greens and browns and purples and other magical elements that I didn't notice it as much, and it was really quite magical. Which brings me to the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along. I unwittingly have knit up a Spirit of Autumn Knit Along project. This is magically themed because I'm using the Alohomora yarn. It is definitely 2 to 3 skeins, and it's huge. And so, hey, I got one done. So if I don't finish my oracle, which I fully intend to do, I hope, I have an entry for my own Cal, so that's a good thing. So anyway, this is the surprise party shawl, and as I said, I am loving the color combination, and I think it is just beyond. So, yes. So thank you for that happy accident, Tracy, because without that, I would not have this wonderful pairing. And yeah, it's just another one of Helen's wonderful creations. I think I started it on Thanksgiving Sunday. I think I started this on the Thanksgiving Monday, which was October 8th or 9th. And I finished it Thursday night, so really down to the wire. And I was also working on the wedding shawl at the same time too. So this past week, I really focused only on this, but the first week I really didn't give it as much love as I would have liked to have. So definitely doable in the evenings, because I did not take this to work. It was evening knits, and but it is a very, very large shawl and a very, very beautiful finished object. And does that not just scream autumn to you? When your 16-year-old son comes and says to you, "Mom, that looks like autumn." Yeah, that looks like autumn. Highly, highly recommended knit. So, yay, happiness. And hopefully next week I'll have 2 more finished objects for you. And now it's time for some brown paper packages. And I only have a few things to share this week. And the first thing is a lovely purple polka dot package. And I tried to show this last week, but this is one of the things that got lost in my transfer from the iPod to the computer. And inside this beautiful purple package is my Advent kit from So Sweet Violet. So that's the bag kit, and there's lots of lovely little things. I don't dare open that purple package until December 1st, because otherwise I know I will be into it, rummaging. And then the other wonderful thing that arrived in the same sort of vein as Advent calendars, because that's what it is, was my Nora George Advent calendar. And this came in a box, so I was trying to figure out what's in there. And then when I opened it, this is the gorgeous box that was inside. And I have sort of peeked because I just wanted to see how the box opened, because it was so neat. So just nice magnet, and that is as far as I have gotten. Tracy needed to put a sticker on here so that, I wasn't too inclined to peek more. So for now, this will stay tucked away, ready for me to open on December 1st. And I love this box because I think this would be great for if I ever actually get around to making a box of socks. This is the perfect box for it. And I love this lovely magnetic closure. So super, super looking forward to my 2 Advent treats. And then last Sunday, before I started filming the podcast, I put up some new hooks on my 3rd floor, and I had some sock blockers that I had hanging on there, and I said I need another set because I do tend to put my hand knit socks on them and then I hang them. So I have my new hangers, and I now have a 4th set of the sock blockers. So this is the medium, and these are the Bri-Spun blockers. So I just picked these up at the Pearl the other day, so I like them a lot. A couple of other things came in the mail this week, and the first was some special yarn that I ordered from Blacker, and that was the Brushwork, and this is their birthday yarn, and I bought 2 colors, and I bought a sweater quantity of the purple, and then this for highlights, because there's a pattern that is on the Blacker site that's free that I really liked, and I'll try and make sure I put the name of the pattern down there. And it's just such a cute sweater for when I ever get to sweaters. And so this one is stipple, and this one is wash, and I just want to have them go together. And then I Went to the Fripperies and Bibelot website last week and bought a couple of lovely stitch marker sets. So one is a spoiler and the other one is the Sleepy Hedgehog. So I did get a few others, but I thought I would just focus on these two. So the Sleepy Hedgehog has a progress keeper that is a little hedgehog, and then inside there are lovely sort of browns, oranges, autumnal, gold. And at one point I did put these, whoa, oh, dropped it, on my autumnal shawl, my surprise party shawl. And they matched perfectly because stitch markers should match projects because that's half the fun. So anyway, so that was Sleepy Hedgehog. Spoiler alert, I'm now going to show you the Ringo's Club from Fripperies and Bibelot, and this one is called Beach Glass. And inside there is a lovely progress keeper, and on that progress keeper is a little tiny piece of beach glass, and it says Dreaming of the Sea. That's just a lovely little sort of stainless steel one. And then the colors are on sort of a matte silver. Whoa, I always do that. They're on a matte silver ring, and then they've got sort of beach glassy kind of colors, light blues, greens, and all the bottles you might find in the sea. Whenever I show Ringos, I always drop one. So just lovely little beachy glassy type of stitch of beads. And that leaves us with an empty basket. And now just a quick recap of the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along. This is a knit along that I am co-conspirating with Danny of Little Bobbins, and we are doing the Oracle Shawl, but there's a little bit of leeway. So you can either do the Oracle Shawl, or once the Oracle Half Pie is released at the beginning of November, you can do that one, or you can do a magically themed shawl. So 2 to 3 skeins. So this one fits into that magically themed because I'm using a magically themed yarn. Even though the name is the Surprise Party Shawl, it is still magically themed because I have used Alohomora as my yarn, so very, very magically themed. The dates for the knit along are from October 1st until December 20th, the last full day of autumn. And if you had started something before October 1st, that's okay. As long as it was less than 25% done, you are definitely welcome to join in. And you can also double dip. And if, for example, you finish one and then you have another one that you're about to start that is magically themed or is the Oracle or something along those lines, you can have more than one entry if you'd like. I would love to have as many entries as possible if I were eligible, because I think the prizes are fabulous. So one of the prizes is a wonderful bag from Little Bobbins. Another prize, which I showed on last week's podcast, is the Spirit of Autumn colorway from Cauldron of Colors. And if you don't want to just worry about, I need to win this one, Sarah is dyeing up that colorway if you're interested in purchasing that on your own. And the final prize is a skein of Nora George Boo Radley, which when it arrives, I will share on the podcast. So a very quick rundown of the Spirit of Autumn knit along. As I said, a shawl like this would qualify, and the Oracle would qualify as well. So if you can magically theme it, and it's 2 to 3 skeins, you are definitely welcome to join in. So the more the merrier. I have moved the platform from Instagram to Ravelry, so it's in the Ravelry group, the Comfy Red Couch, mainly for ease of use, and I think it's going to make for better sharing and also much easier to do prize draws as well. So I'm hoping that I'm starting to see some of the things popping up, and hopefully as the knit along continues, a lot more will pop up. And that's, I think, all I've got to share on the Spirit of Autumn knit along this week. I got no work done on my Oracle, but I got this done. So that's progress, right? Bits and bobs this week. It was busy as always. I mean, whose life isn't busy? And but I did get a lot of knitting done, and I really focused on the 3 projects that I really needed to be working on because they had deadlines. So the surprise party shawl, and then I've got the 2 wedding shawls that so lots of party themed shawls. I have seen a couple of the patterns for Knit Vent, so I am so excited. I did some yarn choosing for one of them, and so I'm looking forward to starting to get that knit up. I'm also thinking of doing a knit along for Knit Vent on this podcast and also in the Ravelry group. I think I'm going to call it Keeping Up with the Curious, because Knit Vent is an intense 6 weeks, but it's a lot of fun. So not sure there'll be prizes with that one, but just a fun knit along to see everyone's progress, because it does go by so quickly. On work front, I've got a major event that I am coordinating on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to getting that done. It almost seems like it's gone a little bit too easy. I'm just sort of waiting for the sky to open up and something to fall down, because it's just, you know, that little bit, it's gone a little too easy. So crossing fingers that everything's okay. Isaac has a show at school on Wednesday night, and Nathaniel's just been keeping busy with school. So just the typical autumn busyness that happens and will continue to happen. I think what I'm looking forward to most of all this week is getting the Scottish thistles off the needles. And yeah, I can't believe while I was filming the podcast today, I almost started taking it off the needles. That was just, if it can go wrong, it will. Anyway, that is, I think, all I've got to share. Not a very exciting life these days. So anyway, I hope that your week ahead is a lot more exciting than mine will be. Thank you so much for joining me on the Comfy Red Couch this week. I always appreciate the time that you give me, and I hope that you had a chance to just sit, relax, rejuvenate, drink that lovely cup of tea, coffee, other libation, and that you got some good progress made on your project of choice. I hope to see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch, and until then, cheers and bye. Ooh.
Hi, welcome to the Gray Comfy Couch. My name's Ghosty, and I'm your host today. So I hope you've got your project bag and your pumpkin of choice, because it's time to get started and talk about knitting and the real spirit of autumn. Ooh.